Alrighty, so today's episode of Locked In Podcast is going to be the importance of getting out in nature and taking care of yourself every once in a while, especially when you're striving to be successful and the stress that comes with that. But to start off, we're going to start with the verse of the day. The verse of the day is, "But as for you, be strong," but as for you, do not get up, or what was it? I don't know. Can you pull it up? Well, it's not on here. It said something like, "Be strong, do not give up, for your work will be rewarded." Pretty sure that's what it was. We were just talking about it. It's pretty much exactly like that. It really hit me today because I was telling Braedon, I was like, I didn't want to come film the podcast today. I had like an hour to prep this whole thing and get ready. And I was just like, man, I don't know what we're going to talk about today. We don't really have a topic. I mean, we kind of bounced an idea, but like it was just quick. And I was like, shoot, got to come up with something. So I was like getting ready. I was taking a shower and I kind of just looked up. I was like, please give me something to work with. Like I need some help. And I opened up my Bible app to read the verse of the day, and it said that. And yesterday, me and Braedon both were kind of struggling a little bit. We were like, man, we're not getting any views. We're not getting any like support, whatever. Just things that come with doing social media. And it's not really just like, we shouldn't really have to worry about that, but it happens. And Do Not Fear came across my page somewhere, and I was like, man, it kind of just blew past my head. And then today I read that verse and I was like, holy smokes, like, be strong, don't give up, and do not fear. I was like, I get it now. Like, don't give up. Listen to what he's trying to tell me, and our work will be rewarded one day for spreading his word, spreading the gospel, and trying to share it with you guys and keep you guys positive every single week. So it was different this time. So anyway, I whipped up a whole idea that I got just off of that, and that really helped a lot. So, it's so
open a different window. That one doesn't have a screen on it.
Okay.
Mosquitoes are going to come in.
Well, there you go. That's the live feature of the podcast here.
Mosquitoes in the state of Wisconsin are terrible.
I forgot what I was going to say, but we moved. This is authentic right here.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely authentic, because it's not getting cut out of the other one either.
That's not getting cut out.
But no, the mosquitoes are bad. We were wondering why they were in here. We were trying to get filming.
It explains a lot now. But no, I was going to say, it's funny how that works sometimes. How things all fall at the
perfect time.
At the perfect time like that. And I feel like it's kind of God's way of sending messages to you, and because he speaks to you through other people, other things that pop up throughout, whatever. So it's kind of funny how that works. And like Logan says too, he was looking over a lot of his stuff, and he was like, man, this isn't really going anywhere what we were expecting. And I kind of felt like the same stuff a little bit too. And just do not be afraid, have that faith. And I think about doubt with my golf channel as well, but really everything, because a lot of people they put their all into things. They expect things right away, but it's not always going to be your day. You might have to wait a little bit, but you stay consistent, and that's how you get to where you want to be. You keep stacking good days on top of each other, and keep following kind of your calling. And you could say Logan was being called today for how those two scenarios happened just perfectly. So
yeah, it was really weird. I told Braedon, I was like, I literally almost tipped over. It happened at the perfect time. I was like, holy smokes, that's what I needed here. And so the more important thing is the topic of the episode today, which is the importance of getting out in nature, reconnecting with the world, getting out of your room, getting off your computer, your phone, and taking care of yourself. And I think it's super important as we all on this journey together with this podcast strive to be something successful, whether that be in our job, whether that be in a business we want to start, whatever. Stress is gonna come with trying to be successful. You cannot be successful without stress. I mean, I mean, think about how many times me and you stress just trying to get a video uploaded. Or
yeah, I mean, you talked about before, like how you got back from work and you're like, all right, I got an hour.
Yep.
I have no idea what to do.
Yep. Yeah, it's like today, like Braedon just said, I had an hour. That's it. And I was like, yeah, it was just like a rush, or it feels like a rush. Really, it's not.
Yeah.
But you just start to panic. You start to stress out. You start to think about what people are going to say if you don't upload. Or
yeah. Well, stress kind of kicks in like when you start to hold yourself highly, like when you start to set like high standards for yourself. This last week, I have no idea how I pulled off what I pulled off. So I went camping up north. I left Thursday. I had a half day from work. And I got back Sunday night, and my weekly guidelines are like, I guess, expectations I set for myself is I gotta find out a way to find time to post the podcast that we're filming now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And then I gotta find time to film 2 golf videos because winter in Wisconsin, you can't film golf videos, so I gotta stack them for winter. And after I find time for that, I gotta find time to edit a golf video to drop Monday. And I was gone. I basically had this last week. Monday, we filmed. Tuesday, I edited the podcast and took out the clips. Wednesday, upload the podcast on the other platforms. And then last night, I filmed a golf video and uploaded it. So, like, talk about stress. Like, that's what I was going through. And I don't know how I do it. I don't know how I did it. I really don't. But, you set those standards for yourself and you just kind of find a way. And Logan, he had no idea what to do for an episode. He found a way. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And for you guys watching, you might not care about what we just said there, but the thing you can take away from that is like, if you got something going on, just find a way. Just find a way, and it's possible. There's gonna be a direction to take. There's always gonna be a direction you could take, and it's always sometimes you gotta look for them. Sometimes not. It all depends on kind of how far you're going to looking, I guess, sometimes. Because it's possible at the end of the day. It is possible to deal with stress. Because everybody does. And you might...
Well, I was just going to say, like, it doesn't matter. Like, even if you're at the top, you're still going to have stress. Oh, yeah. Like, even, say tomorrow you wake up and you have 3 million subs on YouTube on your golf channel. Like, you're going to feel so happy, that you're getting there, that you hit your goals, way above your goals. But then at the same time, you're going to, like, your stress level is going to go way up. Even though you got to where you wanted to be, now your stress level's like triple. Because now it's like, all right, now I have to please 3 million fans. How do I do that? How do I get an episode out? So it doesn't matter where you are, how successful you are. Like Braedon said, you're always going to have stress. Every single person will always have stress. So really, you just have to figure out a way to deal with it.
A recommendation I got, it's a thing I just started doing recently, and I highly encourage you guys to start doing it. I believe Logan even started it too. This episode's about nature. Get outside. Whether you like running, like take a run through the wilderness. Take a run and just it doesn't matter where you are. There's nature everywhere. You could be in the middle of the city. You could be in a trail in the middle of nowhere. Like, go run, go walk, and when you're out there, just kind of look around and just take everything in. And I did that for the first time when we were up north camping. I went for a run. It was my first time running in a while, and I was going. I'm like, I had to build my condition, obviously, but I kind of looked around, and everything just felt different when I looked at it. Like, wow, like this is a nature right here. Just take it in. And by doing that, like, I don't know, I just got like a different feel from it. And it's important to find things when you're dealing with stress and when you got high expectations for yourself and whatever lifestyle you live. You got to have ways to separate yourself and almost escape from that life, because you can't be doing that 24/7. So by doing that, finding some, like, quote unquote escape where you can experience stuff like that, I think it's so healthy for the mind.
I think it's super healthy to just get outside. I mean, like you just said, when I go outside, or I shouldn't say just outside. When I go walk through nature, go to the woods, go somewhere where it is completely silent. There's no city, there's no people, there's no nothing. It's just you, the trees, the birds. You know, it is so peaceful when you just sit out there and listen. You watch the animals running around, you listen to the birds chirping, and you just sit there. Like, I would recommend sitting there for like an hour, because it really does just soothe and relax the mind. Like, it is. Everyone nowadays is so busy, caught up on their phones. What is so and so doing? What is this? Let me like this. You know, is Rachel, you know, posting this today? You know, just all this nonsense. You know, and you get so caught up with where you want to be, but also you are so caught up in seeing where other people are in their lives, because you may envy them, or you may want to be in their position, but you just need to sit back, relax, take a deep breath, reevaluate where your life is at, and focus on getting your stress levels, your anxiety levels under control, and taking your next step forward when you're. But instead you're worrying about someone else's next step. What are they going to do? What is so and so doing this weekend? You know. So I think it's just important. And both of us are hunters, and I think we can both agree on deer hunting season is really any hunting season, actually. Any hunting season where you're out in the woods alone for hours, could be hours, could be weeks, and I think it's the most peaceful, relaxing time ever. No phone, you just sit there in the quiet silence, just listen and watch.
Well, that's literally nature, and like that's completely nature. Like, nature does not know you're there. And this last bow season, I sat in a tree stand longer than I ever have, and you know, one, I enjoy just taking everything in, but two, like, when you live like such a caught up life, like, it's gonna sound funny when you get to like a situation where you can just do nothing, like, dude, it's awesome.
It
like,
is the best thing ever.
Like now, like my life is so caught up right now between catching all my deadlines. Like, I don't remember the last time I probably did nothing was when I was deer hunting last fall.
Exactly, that's
and,
what
like,
I'm saying.
Like, doing nothing is awesome. Like, doing nothing's awesome, dude. Like,
it's beautiful, and I think it's really important to get out in nature and reconnect with God, because I think really importantly that if you read the first chapter of the Bible, God makes a garden that Adam and Eve live in, and he built nature after, like, basically it was heaven on earth. That's how Eden was kind of described. And Adam and Eve lived peacefully in nature with all the animals. And I think that when we go outside and reconnect with nature, that we can really see God speak to us. We can hear him, we can see him, we can give the glory to him. Because if you just look around, if you just go outside, drive, if you're in a city, a big city, small city, just go out, drive into the country, and just look at the hills, look at the scenery, look at the trees. I mean, you can see him in nature. I mean, it is so clear. And I think it's just important to listen to what he's trying to tell you through nature. So, but like we said, hunting season is just,
dude, I look
awesome.
forward to it all the time.
It's awesome. Hunting season is the best. I mean, and you know, a lot of people say, well, you're killing animals. You know, you're not glorifying them, but the Lord put them there for us to eat. I mean, we don't kill them and leave them there. You know,
right.
We kill them. We'll even mount their head if they're nice enough. You know?
That's exactly what you did.
That's exactly what I did. But we always eat them. You know, We're harvesting the food that He gave us, and it's actually the best food that you'll ever eat in your life, because it was killed by you, and it's all natural. It's got no preservatives in it, so
I think mindset's huge with everything, and hunting, it can be done in the wrong way. You know, some people could be killing animals just to kill them, You know, like, I'm not for that. I think, I understand if it's like an invasive species that are harming other animals. That I can understand. But, like, like, whenever I hunt and all that, and, like, I enjoy, like, even the days I don't get them when I see, like, deer. Like, just walking through and, by taking a respectable deer or something like that, if anything, you're honoring it more than anything. And obviously you're killing it, so obviously it's not pleasant to the animal.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, you take it back, you eat it, you put it on the wall, like, that's honoring, one of God's creations and stuff like that. And that's also honoring nature, because where do you find deer? In the nature. So, I mean, it's a lot of how you look at things when you approach stuff like that. But really, another, speaking of how you approach things and your mentality, I want to talk about, like, more about, like, the self-care aspect and stuff like that. You can be living any life in the world. You can be rich, you can be poor, you can be anything. But if your mind isn't in the right spot, like, you can't go anywhere. Because, like, how you approach things starts with your mentality and your attitude. If you don't have an attitude, like, say you wake up, you're like, oh, today's gonna suck, I don't feel like going to work, I don't feel like going to the gym before work, I'm just gonna sleep in, this is so boring, like, that's just a wasted day right there. And you only have so many days, and you gotta wake up, and it should be less like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to go to the gym before work. Maybe look at it like, I get to do this. I get to wake up and go to the gym. I get to go and work and make money for my family. I get to go work and make relationships. I get to do all this. And all of a sudden, like, your life kind of starts to change when you start focusing on you get to do things rather than you have to. And also, like, you'll just be more mentally healthy in general, just for how you approach things like that. Mentality is everything.
It is. It really is. And what you have to understand is, Braedon and I get to film this podcast every week. It is a privilege that we are allowed to do this, because there's some people out there that can't get up, that don't get up in the morning, they die in their sleep, that they're a cancer patient in a hospital right now and have been fighting it since they were born. Everyone can make excuses, but if you're going to make excuses, you're not going to have results. You can either have results or you can have excuses. There's no other way. And I think it's really important to understand that if you can walk, talk, run, anything, that you have something to be grateful for. Even a cancer patient, if I say, has something to be grateful for. I mean, if they can find something they're grateful for, I think all of us can, and I think that's really important to understand. And one of the best quotes that I've ever heard is, if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But at no means ever give up. So, I think that's really important, because why would you ever give up when you still have the ability to do it? I see, back in the day, there was a preacher, I don't know if he's still around, there was a preacher that had no arms, no legs. He couldn't, I mean, he ended up learning how to walk on his stubs, but he was one of the best preachers I've ever listened to. And he traveled the entire world speaking about his life and the miracles that he has gone through, and that he thinks every day is a blessing to him. He has a beautiful wife and kids and family. And he does not care that he has no arms and legs, because he still has the ability to go out there and move people. And I think that's really important. And that just goes along with mindset. I mean, you have to have a tough mindset, a very, very tough mindset in this world.
Well, every morning before I lift before work all the time, and before I leave the gym, I like to say a prayer just before I leave. And I found myself more recently always including, like, just saying, like, showing grace that, like, thank you, Lord, I get to chase my dreams every day. I'm in a position where I can. You know, there's some people who are so caught up with their lives where they don't have the time to. And I'm grateful that I even have the opportunity to see the light at the end of the tunnel and to try to strive towards that. Not everybody has that. And, you know, you kind of gotta look at that like, you know, you might not be chasing your dreams now, but can you? And if you can, like, again, I'm going to stress again, like, I'm going to stress this a lot in this episode. It's going to be probably annoying. Like, it's not, I have to do this. It's not, I have to film the podcast. It's not, I have to film a golf video. It's, I get to.
Because we don't have to.
Right.
We don't have to.
We don't have to do this.
No.
Not
But we
at all.
choose to every single day, and we get to do this, and it's a privilege that we are blessed with. And it's something that I think the Lord has called us both to do, is to come out here and speak on His behalf and help share the word and get you guys along with us, because we're not always on the right path. You know, no one's perfect, as my shirt says. So it's just important to understand that and realize that you get the opportunity to wake up every day and chase after something that you want. So, and I think it's really important not only to have a tough mind, but a tough body. You got to have strong, capable body. And I don't say that you need to have a six-pack, you need to be able to run 50 miles or something, but you need to be physically fit to a standard. Make sure that you're filling yourself with good nutrients, you're not filling yourself with poison, and make sure you're not over drinking, over smoking, over whatever, you know, because if you continuously fill your body with poison, you're not gonna blossom into something better. And I think it's just important that you get out. If you can't, like I said, if you can't run, walk, and if you can't walk, crawl. And so if you can't walk, or if you can't run, if you can't go out for a run, go out for a walk. Enjoy the peace, quiet, put an earbud in, listen to a podcast, preferably this one, and
Nice little plug.
And just enjoy your life. I mean, there's so many, at least in America, I don't know where you guys are watching from, but at least in America, a lot of our country is obese and depressed. And I think that's a pretty sad thing, actually. I mean, I love this country, and I think it's very sad. I mean, if you just get outside, start walking, because soon enough, you know, in a year from now, if you walk every day for an hour, in a year you're going to be running. You know, you're going to be running 4 miles, 5 miles. So I think it's important just to get out and start. Stop waiting. Start. Handle. You know, figure out a way to handle your stress. And who knows, you might be sitting at your house right now and you might think, man, I'm too overweight, I can't do it, whatever. Well, I'm telling you, get outside, start walking. Maybe your peace and your stress reliever is just to get outside and start walking. And I think that's important, because having a tough mind truly resembles where you are at personally in your own life. I mean, you can look at someone's figure and kind of get a good guess, I mean, of where they're at in their life. You can't judge a book by its cover. I'm going to say that very clear. You can't, but in most cases, you know, or in some cases you can, and get a good judgment of what kind of stuff they're going through in their life.
Well, you know, you gotta start somewhere. So many people in today's society are always like, I'll do this tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes, I'll do this tomorrow. All of a sudden, like, they never get to it. And you know, that I want to touch on what Logan was just saying too, and you know, about taking care of your body. You only get one body. But I saw this TikTok. It was on Twitter. It was on Twitter, and it was a video of the same beach, the same exact beach. I don't know. I think it was in Florida. Same exact beach in 1960 versus 20, like present day, and the difference in the videos was in 1960 everybody fit, in shape, not an out of shape person to be seen, and then the one present day, exact opposite. Like, that's scary.
It is very scary. It shows you where people are heading, where our culture, where our viewership may be heading, and it's not in a good path. I mean, To me, it's either one day or day one. One day or day one. You either start it today or you're always going to say one day I'll start it. And you'll forever live in regret. I think that's very true.
I've never heard that before. That's sick, actually.
It's an amazing quote. It's one day or day one. I think everyone should take that to heart, truly. Because honestly, if you continuously say, one day I'll do this, one day I'll have a dream house, one day I'll have kids, you're never going to get around to it. Because every week I'm going to celebrate. Oh, one day we'll film that podcast. I don't know what day, but one day we'll get there. No, we said today's day one. Today's day one. We start every day after this, and we continuously grind. So I think it's really important to understand that with any bit of your life. And I do encourage all of you guys just to get outside and walk, run, lift.
Day one.
Day one.
Just
start today. When you're watching or listening to this podcast, start today.
Yeah.
If you're in the live stream, start today. Whatever it may be, whatever you're thinking about, whatever you have been thinking about for the last, who knows how long, could be 2 years, start it today. Even if you don't know how. I could care less if you know how.
Yeah.
Start before you know how. Braedon's favorite saying. Start today.
Well, this is, take what Logan just said as one of those weird, funny coincidences that pop up. Obviously, we're small right now. Logan, he almost dropped his phone when it said, "Do not be afraid," and what was the other one again?
It said, it said, "Do not be afraid." It was the verse I read yesterday.
Yep.
And today's verse said, "But as for you, be strong. Do not give up, for your work will be rewarded."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let this episode be that weird, funny coincidence how it lined up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whatever you've been thinking on, just start.
Mm-hmm.
Just start.
And your work will be rewarded if
will.
you start. I promise you. I used to be like 150 pounds 3 years ago. Skinny, all bones. It was bad. And I went to the gym for 2 years in a row, and I'm sure you guys have clicked on my TikTok, if you're in the live stream at least, and have seen the progress that I made. But it came to a point where I told myself the same thing that we tell ourselves now, is I need to start today and make myself better. It took me 2 years to get to where I wanted to be, but you know what? I was rewarded for what I started.
Exactly.
So.
Well, an important thing is when you start on day one, don't turn around and look at how far you've come on day 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
Go to day 100.
Mm-hmm.
Go to day 100 and see, like, okay, how close am I, or how much further did I get from my start point, and how much closer am I to my end goal? Because with YouTube, I've been tracking this every week. I keep track of my following pretty much on all platforms, and I got a big whiteboard in my room that I update every week. It went from week 1 when it was 0 on every single thing, and now I got 260 subscribers
in a year, which ain't bad.
A year and a half,
which ain't bad.
And if I look back at week 2 or 3 and I saw 0 subscribers, I'm like, man, this ain't worth my time. I'm not getting anywhere. Well, if I would have quit, I'd still be at 0 subscribers. I didn't quit, and I'm at 260 now. If I quit today, I would likely be at 260, unless one of you listening go subscribe, then I'd be at 261. But you get the gist of it. The only way you're gonna get to where you want to get is by having that day one, and then just keep going. Mm-hmm. Just keep on going.
Don't ever stop. Ever.
Don't ever stop. You will be rewarded. Mm-hmm. That's been the theme of this episode. If you put your time into things, you dedicate yourself to things, you're going to go somewhere. You are going to go somewhere.
And going off of what Braedon just said, so a lot of people ask me about fitness stuff, a lot. And I always tell people, do not measure your success by the week. A lot of people make that mistake, especially in fitness. I always say, take a picture, take a screenshot of where you're at now, when you start. Do the same thing at the 3-month mark. And then at the 3-month mark, have that screenshot and compare it to your 6-month mark. And I promise you, if you do 3 months in a row or like that, you do 3 months separated, you will see the biggest results you have ever seen in your entire life. Like, it'll be from, like, in 30 days, if you work hard at something, you could lose 100 pounds in 30 days. You could. David, or not in 30 days, I mean in 90 days. David Goggins very, very well proved that to you guys. Granted, he has one of the toughest mindsets that I've ever seen on the internet, and out of anyone in the world, but he lost 106 pounds, 104 pounds in like 90 days to meet his quota. So, I mean, stuff like that is doable. It's not there's nothing in this world that's impossible. So I think it's really important to understand that.
And this is very important stuff what we're talking about right here. But I do want to tie this back to nature, because that is the title of this episode. That's why you guys clicked on this episode. And when you have the day one, when you start doing something, talk about stress. You're going to get stressed. You're going to get probably burnt out. But that's where the nature comes back in. It's a cycle. It's a cycle, everybody. You start, you get into something, you get stressed, you get overwhelmed, go see nature. Nature is like going to replenish and like refuel you.
It's like a bonding.
Yeah, literally.
It's like a mentally bonding moment between you, yourself, and God. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important.
It's like a gas station almost.
It is, actually.
It's like a gas station. Like, you fill up your tank, you go take a walk, you fill up your tank of energy to put into something. Mm-hmm. Eventually, you keep pushing, that tank's going to go empty. You got to stop at a gas station at some point. Nature is something that you got to keep coming back to. And nature can be anything you look at. Like, it can be literally anything. It can be artwork. Mm-hmm. It can be outside. It can be your backyard. It can be anything. Mm-hmm. Like, wherever you see beauty in, and wherever you just see a spot where you can escape and almost just start to reflect on some things, talk to God, whatever. Talk to yourself. Mm-hmm. Nature can be whatever you make of it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you gotta look. Sometimes you gotta look a little bit, but it's a cycle, guys. Mm-hmm. And in order for the mind to be in the right spot, you gotta be somewhere on that cycle, and you gotta keep going through. Mm-hmm. That's what I've been going through for 1.5 years with my YouTube channel. That's what we've been going through for 3 weeks with this podcast. Yeah. And every week the cycle resets. Mm-hmm. Before we film this, Logan's like, I don't feel like doing it. Mm-hmm. But then
an hour before. I didn't want to do it. Yeah. But I got myself here.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you just gotta find a way to stay on that cycle. Mm-hmm. Find peace in every day, and focus on like, I get to do things rather than I have to. And all of a sudden, your life's gonna start turning around a little bit.
I guarantee you it will. And I think last thing I want to say is last thing we're gonna say on the podcast is trust the Lord and His plans. Don't worry about all the little things going on in your life. And make sure that you connect with nature, go outside, enjoy your day, enjoy your life that the Lord has given you, and be blessed. I mean, don't let all the built up fear of everyone telling you can't do something stop you from doing it. Put your trust in the Lord, and good things will happen.
Yeah, take the ending of this episode as a starting of something else. If you haven't done, if day one hasn't hit yet, make a hit today.
Yep.
Go for a walk. Go for a run. Go see nature. Do something. Do something at the end of this episode. I know last episode we talked about wanting to do a call to action. The call to action for this episode is go and do something.
Start today.
Start today. This is day one.
Today is day one.
Today is day one. And I think this is a really good episode.
I believe so. Start today and see where it goes.
Yep. Well, I want to thank you all for watching. Our YouTube, go check out all of our links. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I don't think I missed anything. Just if you want to find all of our socials, just go look for them. We post on there every day on TikTok and Instagram, and YouTube Shorts starting now too.
And X and Twitter. I post daily Bible verse every single day, and we are verified on Twitter.
Yep.
As of this week.
Yep. So appreciate all your guys' support. If you listen to the whole episode, thank you so much. Go make a difference in this world. Peace out.
Peace.